Hello, this is Ruth Keim and welcome back. Today we are going to have a very short description of how to use the Mark of the Beast checklist. And so if you could look at this screen is basically supposed to be for Christians as the end times events, the birth pangs are happening, and we're getting closer as we get closer and closer to the tribulation and all of that. I think there's going to be different people and different events that are going to happen that are going to get us alarmed and scared, and different things that can happen. I know right now I've heard a lot of talking and a lot of people asking me questions about the quantum dot, and that's literally called Luciferase, and it's a dot that might end up in your right hand, and this kind of stuff. So I wanted to create a checklist just to help us as Christians to remember what the Mark of the Beast is and what the Mark of the Beast really just isn't. So there might come a time when we're not really sure and we think something is probably not the Mark of the Beast, but it's just too close for comfort. And unfortunately, those kinds of things might happen. But this list is to at least minimize that so that we as Christians are not always thinking every little thing is the Mark of the Beast. So, and we don't want to lose our voice by calling everything the Mark of the Beast, because only one thing is going to actually be the Mark of the Beast. So this checklist basically just starts with things that have to be true and on the scene before the Mark of the Beast is going to get here. Now, I do think there's going to be precursors and precedents set. I do believe that the world is trying to move people toward the idea of not being able to buy and sell unless you have certain things and stuff like that. And I think that as we get closer to the Mark of the Beast, we're going to see that precedent being set, but that does not mean that each of those things is indeed the Mark of the Beast. So the way that you use this checklist is, if you see on the left side of the page, you see all of these boxes. So I have just 4 of them, and then you have these lines. So the idea is that you would take your paper and you would write right here, quantum dot. Whatever thing that you are curious about and are wondering, I wonder if this is the Mark of the Beast. And then go line by line and see if these things are true about the quantum dot. Are these things true on the earth yet? And does this quantum dot stand for worship of an image? These kinds of things. And so as you go down the list, it should be able to reassure you, okay, this thing is definitely not it, or hey, this actually might be it. So if it has certain things, that line up, if half of those things line up, maybe, that's a little too close for comfort, especially since point number 12 says the Mark of the Beast is deceptive and requires wisdom to understand. And that's in Revelation 13:11, and in other places too. So this time has a lot of deception. So not necessarily when the Mark of the Beast gets here. In fact, I would think when the Mark of the Beast gets here, it's going to be deceptive. If they're literally calling it Luciferase, that probably would mean it's a troll, that they're just trolling us and trying to get a rise out of us Christians. But when the Mark of the Beast actually gets here, I think it's going to come across as a great thing and a good thing, and it will be deceptive and probably not real obvious. And that's why it says that it's going to take a mind of wisdom. So a mind that's depending on the Lord. So I want to let you guys just read this list on your own. I don't think I need to go through it with you, but I did want to say about point number 13, because there's a big maybe there. And that is the Antichrist will receive a fatal head wound by the sword. If you stop there, that part is absolutely, I know for sure that's true, because it's stated in Revelation 13:3. It describes it in more detail, and then in Revelation 13:14 it says that it's a wound by the sword. So we know for sure that part is absolutely true. So the Antichrist is going to receive a head wound by the sword, and the whole world will know it, and then an image is made, and then the Mark of the Beast becomes a thing. Okay, so, and people worship him by becoming part of his whole mark of the beast system. So, and there's a passage in Zechariah 11:16-17 that I personally think is actually referring to the Antichrist. It talks about the wicked, worthless shepherd. And I think that is talking about the Antichrist. And I could be wrong on that, though. And I wanted to just make a point. Please put a little, I really, really want everyone to put a little note off to the side saying, maybe on this part, because if you're checking off the list and you're like, well, some guy got a, you know, all the boxes are checked and he got a head wound by the sword, but it didn't make him go completely blind in his right eye and his right arm didn't wither. Therefore, it can't be, you know, the mark of the beast. I don't want to lead anyone astray. So I think Zechariah 11:16-7 is talking about the Antichrist and calling him the worthless shepherd that was still to come back during the time when Zechariah wrote this. And also it's by the sword. So notice that wound is also by the sword. And of course, something that would go across your right eye is definitely a head wound. So I kind of see those as being maybe, you know, maybe that's more detail about that, but maybe not. So anyways, I hope this is helpful and that it helps us to be watchful and ready and not to fall for thinking things are the mark of the beast before we know for sure that it really is. And I hope that you guys find that helpful. If you have any questions or comments below, that'd be great. Thank you very much. Bye.